Here we go. Our second live mock draft on OT with BP. 7 rounds. Got some trades on tap, I think. And my favorite draft strategy for the 49ers coming up in 2024 right now. Niners. I should unmute my microphone here as we go. I got a lot going on here with the music and a little rock and roll to get us started there. Shout out to the Hot Snakes for the theme music. 49ers 7-round mock draft. The thumbnail says with trades. We'll see if trades actually happen, but I do think there's a certain draft strategy that fits for the 49ers. We'll utilize some of the intel we know about workouts and how the 49ers operate and what this class looks like so far in the 2024 class. Tony says Fugazi. No, that is the Hot Snakes, but big Fugazi fan here. Fugazi, by the way, one of my favorite bands of all time, not broken up, just on indefinite hiatus. So maybe they'll come back someday. I don't know if I need to see 60-year-old Fugazi dudes. I don't know if they can still put out I'd rather just them remain in my memory, how I saw them live. And yes, this is the old intro I used to use back in the day on another podcast. By the way, if y'all can see there, the Locked On 49ers podcast hat. It's one of a kind. It is not for sale. This is the only one in existence, and actually there's two. There's the red with black writing that my co-host Croc has. So make sure you're hanging out with us every day on Locked On 49ers, talking about the 49ers. This is overtime, just extra stuff. I can get a little loose here. We can go longer. No rules on OT with BP. So this is my place. We're doing weekly mock drafts, which means there's only one more mock draft coming before the real NFL draft starts next Thursday. I do want to remind everybody as well, on the Locked On Network, I co-hosted our extravaganza of a Locked On NFL mock draft, a network-wide mock draft, all the hosts making picks for their teams. I'm the assistant GM to Croc on that one because I had to host the show, so Croc's making our pick for the 49ers. That launches today, actually, later on the Locked On Sports Today stream. So check that out. 7 Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time will be episode 1. The 49ers pick at the end of the first round, but, trades. Croc and I are on the phone talking trades as well. So it's a fantastic thing that I love hosting every single year, brings the whole network together, and it's a whole lot of fun. But let's get going here on this 7-round 49ers mock draft. And we are going, let me bring it up on the screen here. We are going to use the PFF mock draft simulator. Last week's we did the Pro Football Network sim. And I don't know if it was them or me. I fat fingered some picks, and we did some weird stuff. I love the outcome of it and the draft strategy. So my preferred draft strategy is the 49ers come up in this draft one time at least. And I think the best plan would be not to go up in the first round, but maybe go up on day 2, either round 2 or round 3. And I'm going to test that strategy again with an extra wrinkle this week. And that is potentially, if there's offers to move down from round 1, would it be better for the 49ers to go down first, then have extra ammo to move back up, maybe move back up further, draft 3 times in the top 75, maybe even move up in round 2 and go boom, boom, boom in round 2 with a couple of picks. So that's my strategy right now. And I'm going to need the folks in the live chat here in my war room, my assistant GMs, to help me out. And if there's any tiebreakers, especially with these picks, and maybe deciding whether or not we should make some of the trades that might be on the table. So let's get into this mock draft. 49ers 7-round mock. We've got the PFF simulator. I'm going to make some alterations here. I do think teams care more for positional value. I think teams draft for need less. So I'm going to tick those down a little bit in randomness. I mean, the draft is insane, absolutely nuts every year. We never know exactly what's going to happen. So let's kick up the randomness, just one tick there, and let's get this going here. Drafting for the 49ers, and we will take a look at potentially what would be out there in a trade-up scenario. And I'm going to circle pick 21 as a spot where realistically the 49ers could get up, and we'll see what that costs, and we'll see if that's something that even makes sense. Pick 21. I've paused it there, the Miami Dolphins. I say the Dolphins just because I think there's probably an open line of communication with the two franchises that shared coaches and know each other well. And the Dolphins are a team that is in a certain salary cap situation, might need more picks. They're short picks this year. They don't have a pick for 100 selections between 55 in round 2 and 158 in round. That is round 4, or is that the beginning of round 5? I think that's the beginning of round 5, right? So yeah, a second or an extra third round pick would really help out, or an extra fourth round pick would really help out, I think, the Dolphins with what they're doing. So let's take a look at this. Who are the players that the 49ers would trade up for? Well, I think they're already gone, first of all. Maybe Troy Fautanu. 49ers were at that private workout at the University of Washington, might have been more interested in Rosengarten. I don't know. But Fautanu, I think, would be a fantastic fit for what the 49ers do. J.C. Latham, if we're looking at tackles, is off the board. Not a great fit stylistically for the 49ers, even though I think he's a first-round guy. My favorite fit pick for the 49ers is Talise Fuaga, and he's going 10. He goes high in mock drafts. Now, if he would be on the board, would that be worth it? Maybe. I just don't know if I see the player that's going to be worth it for the 49ers here. And what would it cost? Let's say to move up 10 spots from 31 to 21. That's usually really expensive. A future second might get it done. A third this year, maybe. And that's probably the maximum I'd be willing to give up to go in round 1 is what a third rounder could get you. Future third, maybe. Do you give up future assets? I don't think the players are there to move up in this class right now as this mock fell. So I'm not going to go up, but this is the area, like one of those players. Like if Fuaga falls to 21, and look, to be honest with you, I think the Dolphins would just take him there. If that was the case, it's going to be wild if those quarterbacks, or if I'm saying quarterbacks, I'm looking at the Steelers pick and Bo Nix. I don't know if that's very likely either, but Fautanu and if Fuaga, if they're getting past the Steelers at 20, then I think he's got to start looking at this. But I think it's probably pretty unlikely, and maybe that works out. But I'm going to go down first, or at least see what's there for the 49ers. So we are not going to offer trade. We're going to see who's there at pick 31 for the 49ers. Now, maybe you throw in a fourth round pick just to go up a few spots, maybe see how the Baltimore Ravens here went with a tackle at pick 30. Maybe you just want to get up a few spots. Can you get up with the Buffalo Bills here, who went Chop Robinson? I would love Chop. I would love Darius Robinson. I would love, Mims is kind of scary with what his profile is. If he's there at 31, you almost have to make the pick. But is he worth trading up for? It's an odd draft profile that I don't know if you want to put that much into. He's gone at pick 25 here. So as we sit, the 49ers on the board at pick 31. And Miami, yeah, see, I don't know if Miami's going to be trading for a wide receiver, because they got to get cheaper at the position. They got to get cheaper at a lot of spots. 20 with the Steelers would probably be the most. If I had to guess, if you told me Ayuk's going to get traded in the draft, the 49ers are going to do something, I would say Steelers at 20, trade for Ayuk, Niners draft an offensive lineman, a tackle, one of the top tackles at 20, and then go back to wide receiver potentially at the end of the first round. I would think that would be the most likely scenario there in an Ayuk trade. I don't think it's happening with Ayuk, so we are not playing with that scenario today. JPJ, a vote in the chat for this selection. Jackson Powers Johnson, it looks like, is on the board here. So the best available, Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver out of Texas, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Jackson Powers Johnson. Man, with the latest intel on Adonai Mitchell, scares me. He was already a boomer bust prospect. He's got type 1 diabetes. Apparently he's like really off and on as far as, what kind of a teammate he is, a practice player, if he cares or not that day. And that's already in addition to what you see on tape. I don't know about that. He might be in for a draft fall. Kool-Aid and Jackson Powers Johnson. Are they such good prospects that you can't trade out of this spot? There's a team interested in trading with the 49ers. That is the New York Jets. Man, the Jets are all the way down at 72. That's a third round pick. So that's definitely not happening here. The Jets are an interesting team. Would the Jets trade down with the 49ers? Could the Niners get all the way to pick 10 and draft somebody that we're not even expecting at all? The Jets are a team that could use some picks, but they're kind of all in right now. I don't know if that's the move and the right play for the New York Jets. So The Jets are the only team super interested in making this trade. Let's dial up our old buddy that's in Washington now, Adam Peters. See if the 49ers could swing a deal to go down. Maybe the Washington Commanders want to get up for a certain player. They don't look like they're going to be very interested in this. And here's the things: you're at the mercy of what the teams are willing to trade. So you give a second round pick, third round pick, a future, like they just won't trade. Washington doesn't want this pick at all. Let's see if there is another team. Who would be coming up here? Would a team be coming up for a quarterback? Would a team be coming up for who would be coming up? What about the Raiders at 45? Is that too deep? Is that too deep? Yeah, see, these teams don't want to trade. There's no trades on the board, and a team has to call. And right now in this simulator, nobody wants to call the 49ers. So you have to stick and pick if that's the case. Jackson Powers, Johnson, or Kool-Aid. That's the decision for me here. And I get why some people would like Adonai Mitchell. Kool-Aid or Jackson Powers Johnson. Let's take a look at the chat here. Pass on AD. Jets more likely to move up, I think. Get a receiver. Who did the Patriots pick? Center's a deep position. JPGA has injuries. I think you go Kool-Aid. Jackson Powers Johnson, I think, like had a hamstring or was it an ankle or something? That's what he was dealing with at the Senior Bowl, at least. I don't think there's any big injuries for him. So injuries are not really worrisome for me. It's just, is he a fit? I think he's a fit for every team. Croc and I actually did the deep dive on him recently. Oh, concussions. Is there concussion history with Jackson Powers Johnson? Yeah, that might add to it. Darius Robinson. Darius Robinson is usually a little lower for PFF. Is he gone? He's still there. He's still there. The public board likes him. The PFF board dropped him down, I think, even more in their latest rankings, which is a little bit surprising. He was invited to the draft in Detroit. He's going to be at the live draft. That tells me they think he's going to be a first-round pick. I would love Darius Robinson here. So that's actually a good call. Darius Robinson absolutely is in the mix for this pick. Darius Robinson, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Jackson Powers Johnson. JPJ, Tyler Nubin. I don't think I'm going safety here, although I wouldn't be shocked if the 49ers like Tyler Nubin. The Georgia safety 2 is a player I think the 49ers might like. I'm getting day 3 vibes for defensive backs as far as what the 49ers are doing. Jackson Powers Johnson. Everyone likes the center. John Chapman. What's happening, John? One of the first guests, actually the first guest I had here on the new channel, OT with BP. Appreciate John Chapman. We talked a lot about offensive linemen. Is there a first round guy that you really don't want the 49ers to get? At this point, I think AD Mitchell is kind of frightening for the 49ers just because of the boomer bust nature. I don't like Guyton. Something about Guyton's film I didn't like. He plays really upright, and I would feel much more comfortable with him in the second round. Cooper DeJean, everyone loves. It depends on how you're going to use him. Will the 49ers draft a first round guy who's ultimately like a super slot, nickel, star, safety type of defender, which I think is where he fits better? Amarius Mims scares me a little bit. I know he scares John Chapman a lot. I like Mims more than Guyton because even in the little amount he played, I think I saw more from him than I did with Guyton, and Guyton didn't play a lot either. I wouldn't want to go Jackson Powers Johnson and Graham Barton. I just think the draft is really deep at center, and that's probably something I'd try to attack later on. Just draft Rosengarten, Kenny says. You know it's coming, Brian. It might be coming. It's not coming here today on this episode, unless it's a little bit later on in this draft. If we don't go tackle here, day 2, we'll have some conversations about Rosengarten. I don't really like him at 31, though. And Tony says trade down. I would do a trade down here, but it turns out this time there's nobody that wants to make a move. Let's just check it out one more time. Let's make a couple more phone calls here, because I know in the past, some teams around this area, Jacksonville Jaguars, on this simulator at least, are interested in moving up. But in this exercise, teams don't want to move down. So we're sticking and picking. Kool-Aid or Jackson Powers Johnson or Darius Robinson. I think I'm going Darius Robinson, guys. I think he's my favorite right now today of the three. I like Kool-Aid, and I think corner gets a little bit more difficult later on. Kool-Aid? Another vote for Kool-Aid? Kool-Aid Kool-Aid making a late charge. Come on, somebody break the tie here. Somebody break the tie. D-Rob will be the pick, John Chapman says. 49ers will take D-line, and we will all like it. Okay, another vote for Darius Robinson, and I don't doubt that at all. Kool-Aid. All right, I'm gonna turn off the voting here, because to be honest with you, 15 minutes is the clock, and we're already getting close. Man, this is really close. Early votes for JPJ, getting more Kool-Aid and Darius Robinson now. This is tight. This is tight. D-line really thins out. If you're a Robinson fan, strike here, Kenny says. There's some truth to that. And we know this football team, if we're projecting what the 49ers will do, I'm going Darius Robinson, guys. There it is. Let's lock in the pick. Darius McConkey sneaking in there as a in the conversation, I think, as well, for the 49ers. But we're actually going to go Darius Robinson here is the pick. Now, if I was just trying to, outsmart the PFF draft board, knowing that he's ranked a little bit lower, I might have waited on him and tried to go up to get Darius Robinson, but we're still going to be mobile here and try to move up. How high can we move up now from round 2? This is my draft strategy to come up on day 2. The pick would be an offensive lineman and an offensive tackle. And my particular favorite in this area is Kingsley Suamataia, and he's still there on the board. So where will he go? How high do we have to go to get one of those players? JPJ Kool-Aid's still around. Let's go up and get a guy, right? Washington didn't want to come up. Do they want to go down? Let's see what that would cost. Let's go all the way to 36 from pick 63. What does it cost? Throwing in 94, third rounder, they still don't want to do it. Now, the Commanders have a lot of picks. I don't know if they'd probably want a stick and pick here. But let's see. Let's throw in a 4th round pick. 18% chance that they would accept that. I mean, you would have to go future picks maybe to go all the way up, plus a 3rd rounder. I think we got to push it. We got to wait a little bit. Sorry, Adam Peters, couldn't get a deal done with you. Let's resume the draft and pause it in just a little bit. Okay, Jackson Powers, John. Oh, and Kool-Aid went off the board right after him. I was trying to stop. And here's that next pick for Washington at pick number 40. So 2 of those targets are now off the board in the top 39 picks, and you knew they weren't going to last long. But if the 49ers were playing the draft game, it'd probably be hard to get up this high, but I think it could be a potential spot to strike here in a bit. I'm going to stop on the Raiders. Could the Raiders be a team that needs more picks? They absolutely should be, because they need a lot of work to do. Do the 49ers and Raiders swing a lot of deals? No, they don't. But let's shoot them an offer to get up here to pick number 44. I'm just going to look here, since that's the big thing I don't like about the PFF simulator, which is why I didn't use it last time, is you can't get a look at the big board. So you just have to know what you're looking for. Suamataia is my target right now for the 49ers. If they can get up and get that developmental offensive tackle who has the traits to be a starting tackle, left or right side in the NFL, could maybe even play guard early, could be a swing tackle early, and probably could, and potentially compete and beat out Colton McKivitz for the right tackle job, even though he's only a 21-year-old redshirt sophomore. Finished his last college season at the age of 20, just turned 21. Suamataia, like the upside there. Can the 49ers get up high enough? I think they can get this high. And I know those Saints at 45, they do need an offensive tackle. Let's see if they drafted an offensive tackle in round 1 at 14. They did not. Oh, they went JJ McCarthy was there at 14. So, yeah, we got to get up here if we want to tackle. Saints are going to draft one. They're going to draft our guy. Can the Niners get up to pick 44 here? 44. So 63 plus 94. Just add in the third round pick. You might need to even sweeten it with, let's throw that 6th round pick in here. Offer trade. And that did it. 49ers are now on the clock. Zach Frazier, speaking of John Chapman, if he's still in the room here, I know he's a fan of Zach Frazier, the center, but I'm swinging for I like Chris Jenkins a lot in this area. We already went D-line. Kieran Amegaji scares the bejesus out of me. I think traits-wise, Kingsley's right there with Amegaji, but you actually got to see him play at a D1 level, and you didn't get that with Amegaji. So Suamataia is my pick here for the 49ers in round 2. Ruka Rororo. Xavier Worthy is a dark horse player for the 49ers. I've talked about it. Kyle Shanahan's roots. His buddy's the coach now at the University of Texas, his alma mater. Apparently, he's been around the building. Kyle Shanahan always likes to have a super speedy wide receiver around the return value. Could that help for Worthy? I think Worthy's going to go a lot higher than people give him credit for. This would be a very interesting pick. Let's say if we went a different direction or had a couple of second rounders here, I could absolutely see that being the pick. But no, I'm going Suamataia for the 49ers here, going big defensive lineman, going big offensive lineman with the first 2 picks. And now the 49ers are out of selections for a while after trading their 3rd round pick. Was it worth it? What do you think about that trade scenario, going all the way up to pick 44 and getting an offensive tackle, a potential starting caliber offensive tackle after a defensive lineman in round 1? Yeah, I feel like we're good here. I love this. Kenny says about Amegaji, the Yale tackle. Also, don't know what kind of Amegaji because of his injury is, and Suamataia is a good one. Okay, there you go. Don't know what kind of athlete he is. Yeah, I mean, he's a good athlete and it looks like a good athlete on tape, but you didn't see the testing, right? Because of the injuries. So you got injuries, major injury, because he got hurt during the season. He still can't work out. I think he does actually have a pro day at some point. It might have happened this week, or maybe it's happening in the next few days before the draft. I think he had a really late pro day to try to get ready. So that's a significant injury for a prospect, and didn't get to play against better competition and show off in one-on-ones at the Senior Bowl. And there's so many other developmental tackles. I don't think I can touch Amegaji in the first 2 rounds at all. Maybe round 3, I'd be looking at him, but we already found our developmental tackle. I love Suamataia. Great traits. I mean, it's very similar traits to his cousin, Penei Sewell. If the 49ers, even needing to utilize a 3rd round pick at pick 94, which they haven't drafted great with those late 3rd round picks in this regime, to go get a potential starting defensive lineman, starting offensive lineman, I mean, I just think that's I think that would be a phenomenal outcome. And now the 49ers are back on the clock in round 4, pick 124. Ooh, Mekhi Wingo is one of my favorites in this area. Just went off the board to D'Amico Ryan's Houston Texans, a pass rushing, undersized, 3 technique defensive tackle. Let's see. According to PFF, Devondre Sweat, he's in for a fall, getting a DUI a couple weeks before the draft. Just got some intel from Dane Brugler that Devondre Sweat apparently was playing at 190, and he didn't weigh in at the Senior Bowl because he was waiting to the combine. And he had to wait all that time just to get down to the 366 pounds he weighed in at the combine. I mean, that's rough. So multiple red flags for, a nose tackle, which is a position that's fallen out of favor in the NFL anyway. Could absolutely double up on offensive linemen. Super athletic Tanner Bortolini out of Wisconsin. He's played all over the offensive line at Wisconsin, starting center last year, blew up the combine, hits all of the athletic metrics you want for successful NFL offensive linemen right now. Tanner Bortolini got the tackle, maybe a future center in the draft, double up on offensive linemen. He's absolutely in consideration here. Theo Johnson, tight end out of Penn State, a Y tight end with big-time athleticism that could definitely be a better pro than he was a college player, but can block. Sounds a lot like a guy the 49ers drafted on day 3 in 2017, right? And George Kittle. So Theo Johnson would be on the list for me right here for the 49ers in round 4. Mason Smith, Mekhi Wingo's teammate. He's A little bit too similar probably to Darius Robinson that we already drafted there. Big end tackle, 5 technique type of guy. Actually, kind of a similar profile to Eric Armstead is what Mason Smith is. But I do think that Darius Robinson can play some of that Armstead role as well. He's already our guy. Undersized, speedy edge rusher, Mohamed Kamara would not make that pick here. I'm not as high on him as some others. Caden Wallace is probably more of a guard in the NFL, but he's one of the few players the 49ers have met with, including Sua Mataia on the offensive line. In fact, I think they're the only 2 offensive linemen the 49ers had 30 visits with in Santa Clara, were Caden Wallace and Sua Mataia. Shao Smith-Wade, corner out of Washington State. He is a player the 49ers met with as well. Interesting prospect, 5'11", 176. I think this is the area where the 49ers might be looking for safeties and corners. Luke McCaffrey, Gabriel Murphy. If we didn't already go defensive end, I think he would be in consideration for the 49ers. So I'm pretty sure I'm going back to, and let's see the votes. It's Theo Johnson, tight end out of Penn State, or it's Tanner Bortolini, the center from the University of Wisconsin. Is Sanat here? Let me take, Sanat is the Kansas State tight end. Let me just filter this by tight ends and see exactly who's there at tight end. Sanat's already gone, so he is no longer on the board. Tip Ryman, big Y tight end, and then Jaheim Bell would be the next tight end after Theo Johnson, who's more of a detached, athletic, yards after catch guy. I could see any of those 3 being fits for the 49ers if you wanted to wait on tight end. There is still some players. I think Theo Johnson, though, with his physical profile and the way he ran at the combine with his size, I think he's too perfect of a fit. And the 49ers are trying to figure out that tight end 2 situation for a long time. 6'6", 260, and he ran really well at the combine at that size. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't even know if he'd still be here at 124 overall. All right. Theo Johnson, tight end out of Penn State, or Tanner Bortolini, Wisconsin center. Those are the options I'm going with in the 4th round here. Bortolini. And yeah, Bortolini. That's it. Let's go. And we'll see if those tight ends are there a little bit later. I mean, this is almost unanimous for Bortolini. Everyone wants the athletic center, the big man getting some love in this mock draft. I love it. Tanner Bortolini, Wisconsin center. Let's go. Can fill in at multiple spots. Well, Dan Brunskill vibes actually for Bortolini as a prospect, right? And, can compete and battle. Maybe he's the center of the future starting in 2025 for the 49ers. Tanner Bortolini, 4th rounder. Wisconsin is the pick. Niners back up quickly, though, and I bet tight end could be there. And I think that's the smart way to go because there's so many tight ends. And they're still here, whether it's Jaheim Bell, whether it's Tip Ryman. We're going Theo Johnson here, still on the board at 132 for the 49ers. And I think Theo Johnson kind of shows up in all my mock drafts for the 49ers, actually. All right. Late 4th, last pick in round 4, pick 135. Do you go D tackle, Mason Smith? Do you go, I already done 2. Okay, here we go. Do you go Will Shipley, who's poor man's Christian McCaffrey, or do you go Luke McCaffrey, who's literally Christian McCaffrey's brother at pick 135? Wide receiver in play. I love Malik Mustafa. I bet John Lynch does too. Some similarities in how those 2 guys played the game of football. Cedric Gray at linebacker. Absolutely consideration here. I like Gabe Murphy as well out of UCLA, edge rusher. Haven't drafted a corner. I think DJ James, athletic, albeit skinny, cornerback out of Auburn. Absolutely considerations. A lot of good options here for the 49ers at this spot. I think those are my a lot more guys to choose from. Christian Jones, we've already done 2 offensive linemen. I think we got to chill out on that. Christian Jones would be that 4th round sort of offensive tackle option, I think, for the 49ers if they don't take a guy early. Cam Hart, I'm not as high on as some, but late 4th round, I would be okay with Cam Hart, corner out of Notre Dame. It kind of fits the profile of a couple of guys the 49ers have recently signed, longer linear type of outside corner. But the fact that they've added all those guys, maybe nickel corner is the type of player the 49ers are looking for right now. Let's just see who's there at corner since we haven't gone there yet. We got Jarvis Brownlee, Shao Smith-Wade, Miles Harden, DJ James, Cam Hart, DeCamarion Richardson, the 49ers just brought him in for a visit. And by the way, I think the league-wide 30 visits can no longer happen as of today. So whatever visits they need to have, they can have. DeCamarion Richardson tested really well. He's fast and he's tall. Interesting player for the 49ers. Kind of similar to Darrell Luter, who they drafted last year in this same area. I could absolutely see DeCamarion Richardson being a pick. We can push our luck, though, I think, with some of these corners into round 5, maybe, or maybe even trade up again. Got a lot of picks still here in this draft. Let's check out the chat. See what you guys think. We've got Luke McCaffrey vote. We've got another Luke McCaffrey vote. Had a feeling. Mustafa, like that. Luke McCaffrey. All right, McCaffrey, the most popular in the chat here. DJ James all day or Renardo Green says 1. Is Renardo Green still there? No, I think he's already gone. Right? Yeah, Renardo Green's gone. I'm going to wait. DJ James, though, is an interesting player. PFF just changed their rankings recently, by the way. DJ James was ranked a lot higher. They've got him at 153 overall now. He's absolutely worth this pick, DJ James is. Size, is he a fit? Are the 49ers going to draft a 175-pound corner? I don't know. DeCamarion Richardson is slim as well, but he's, 190, right? 185? Yeah, 195 he's listed as. Let's see if DeCamarion Richardson, Nehemiah Pritchett. Let's see if one of these guys, Elijah Jones, I like a lot as well. Yeah, there's still some players at corner. Let's wait on that. Let's wait on corner. That's my strategy here, seeing what's on the board. And I already forgot so Luke McCaffrey, Malik Mustafa, Cedric Gray. Cedric Gray, I think, is probably the highest ranked guy here, late 4th. He's potentially starting caliber corner in the NFL, athletic. Linebacker. Let's see who's here at linebacker before we make our pick. But we got to get our pick in. Trevin Wallace is an interesting one. He's been meeting with a lot of teams recently. Linebacker out of Kentucky. 6'2", 241. All right, one more check-in with the assistant GMs. Luke McCaffrey. Cedric Gray. We are uncertain at linebacker depth. The 49ers have done some work there, though. I think we're going Luke McCaffrey here, guys. I just want to double check on what's there at the wide receiver position before I lock that pick in. Taj Washington out of USC. We got Isaiah Williams, Jaquan Jackson, Jalen Coker, Anthony Gold, return man. I think Bub Means. I don't love Bub Means. I see a lot of people are fans of his because of his size, and he ran well at his size. But man, the man cannot turn the corner on his routes, which worries me a little bit. We're going Luke McCaffrey, guys. Staying in the family. That's the pick at 135. Luke McCaffrey, give you some return value. He can get open on third downs. I think he would give you something very similar with maybe a little more after the catch than some similar 49ers slot receivers recently. All right, I just paused here. The 49ers pick at 176. The last pick, comp pick in round 5. Is there anything worth going all the way up for? DJ James just went. DeCamarion Richardson, maybe. 49ers corner. Do we need to make all these draft selections? The Bears probably aren't, or the Dolphins have a whole bunch of picks now all of a sudden. So I don't know if they needed to move up, or they needed a pick on day 2, round 3. Not right now. Let's play it out a little bit more. Oh, Cedric Gray just went. He would have been worth going up for. Cardinals aren't going to trade with the 49ers. Bills at 163. How much does it cost to go up? Give up a 6th rounder this year. How many picks do the 49ers need? You could probably even get a pick next year. Get a little extra pick action. Add a 7th rounder next year. Give up a 6th this year to go up a few spots to get a guy. No. Let's let it play out. Let it play out here with the last few selections in this mock draft. Have some more picks to play with. Oh, and there went DeCamarion Richardson and Malik Mustafa and Trevin Wallace. All right, we should have traded. Lesson. That's a lesson to you. We should have just traded up. What was it going to cost? A 6th round pick? Would have been worth it, I think, to go get one of those guys that were on our list. Javon Foster, interesting player, guard all day for me. Already got a tackle and a center. Throw a guard in there as well. That is a possibility. Grayson Murphy should definitely not be around. Edge rusher from UCLA. I would like a tackle. I would like a wide receiver. No, I already got wide receiver. I would like a corner. I would like a corner or a safety. Elijah Jones, absolutely consideration here. Really nice player out of Boston College. That would be my pick at corner. I don't know why PFF has him ranked so low. Don't think the league will. Safety. Nope. Nothing jumping out at me. Let me know in the chat if you see a player that we got to get here. Bo Braid. Kalen King has returnability. Yes. Niners just signed Trent Taylor. Yeah. Maybe some overlap there with Luke McCaffrey, but I do not think at all Trent Taylor is guaranteed to make the roster for the 49ers. Probably just wanted to get George Kittle's buddy back in the room for a little while. Steel Chambers, great name at linebacker. I mean, Grayson Murphy. Never mind. I was thinking Gabriel Murphy. They're brothers. Yeah, not Gabriel Murphy. It's Grayson Murphy that's still on the board. Okay. Bo Braid. I see the vote in the chat for the safety out of Maryland. Bo. Better run defense grade than a pass coverage grade, according to PFF. Physical safety is willing to be an effective tackler against even the biggest ball carriers. Played 1,500 snaps over his last 2 seasons and a near even split between free safety and strong safety. Okay, like that. Downhill safety, 6'1", 210, but versatile in that he's got experience at strong and free, which sounds a lot like a couple of the safeties the 49ers already have in-house. Too similar to the guys they already have in-house. Dylan Lobby here, the New Hampshire running back's a really good receiver. Let's eyeball him a little bit later on. Kinley Jackson, if you're looking for more of a nose, big-bodied defensive tackle, some work to do there. I got to be honest, I don't love how the board fell here. We should have traded up for a corner here in the 5th round, earlier in the 5th. Kalen King, a corner, return experience. That's the pick, 176. That is in. Man, he was well thought of coming into this season. Did not have a great season and has fallen like a rock with his draft. I mean, people are talking about him as a 2nd-round guy, a top 50 player just a few months ago. Tip Ryman. We already went tight end, but I think Tip Ryman could be a developmental Y tight end for the 49ers. Kind of a he's a little bit raw, even as a blocker, but he has all the ability. And with tight ends, man, there's a correlation with tight ends and their athletic testing and how good those tight ends become in the NFL. Offensive linemen as well. And it's funny, it's kind of counterintuitive. You're always looking for, speed at running back, speed at wide receiver, the fastest corner, 4.3 speed, but it's the athleticism with the bigger players, like the arm length and the athleticism and testing numbers 40 times and short shuttles for tight ends and offensive linemen that truly, as far as athletic testing, show the biggest correlation to success in the NFL. As Invader says here, Tip Ryman was the only tight end at the combine that moved the sled like it was on furniture sliders. I mean, he's big and strong. And if I didn't go tight end earlier, he's absolutely consideration here on day 3. All right, here we go. 2 more picks. Let's finish it up. Let me know in the chat James Williams, safety out of Miami, has a vote in the chat. I have not put on the tape, but he gets coverage grades, which is really important. It is really important. He's played all over the place, it looks like. James Williams, 6'5", 215. Well, that's not a safety. So we're talking about a converted linebacker here. Is that the type of player James Williams is? Give us a scouting report in the chat. I saw somebody say James Williams would be the pick, should be the pick here. Elijah Jones is still there. That would be my selection at this spot, would be Elijah Jones, Boston College corner. He didn't test amazing, but he's a really good player. Has some size. He's slim. Listed 6'2", 184. I think he came in at 6'1" at the combine. That is very heavily leaning toward Elijah Jones being the pick here. Watch the tape. Williams is a dog, a linebacker safety hybrid. I'm all about that. Another vote for Jamal Hill if he's there. Love the traits. Just changed positions from safety a year ago. Okay. He's not actually even. Jamal Hill is such a sleeper, and he was one of the 30 visits for the 49ers. Oregon, about 6 feet, a little under, I think a little over 6 feet, 220 pounds, former safety turned linebacker. He also has like some off-field stuff, which is maybe why the 49ers wanted to meet with him. I think he's viewed more of as a priority free agent. He's such a sleeper. He's not even in, or at least last I checked, Jamal Hill is not even in the draft sim here at PFF. So let's go Elijah Jones here, cornerback out of Boston College. I mean, that's a phenomenal value, I think, here, pick 211. And then let's get, if they're still there, James Williams or Jamal Hill, a developmental safety conversion linebacker with the final selection in the 7th round. The 49ers have been sniffing around a bunch of late day 3 types of linebackers. He just went off the board, James Williams did, to the Colts at 234. So I don't think Jamal Hill is even in this draft sim, but if he is, he'll be our pick here. Let's see who the linebackers are. Olafasio. He's a special teams demon, athletic linebacker. He's absolutely the selection right here for me. I don't even have to look any further. Olafasio finishes it up at 251 in the 7th round for the San Francisco 49ers at linebacker. And I think positionally, I think the 49ers might be going in this direction. Day 3 linebacker, day 3 tight end, day 3 corner, maybe more of a nickel corner they might be looking at. It feels like potential safety there, defensive back as well. So what do you guys think? How did we do? 7-round 49ers mock draft. We took Darius Robinson, defensive end, defensive lineman, very versatile player. They gave us a D- grade. I disagree with that. Darius Robinson, defensive lineman out of Missouri, big end, can rush from the inside. I love him, and I love how he would fit with the 49ers defense. Kingsley Suamataia, 2nd round, moved up there to get an offensive tackle. I think he's a future starter at the left or right side and can compete for a starting job somewhere on the line early in his career. Just a pup, redshirt sophomore. He's not a finished product at all, but I love the physical ability for Kingsley Suamataia. Tanner Bortolini in the 4th round after trading away the 3rd round pick. Center out of Wisconsin, supreme athlete. Theo Johnson, Penn State tight end in round 4. Come back with Luke McCaffrey. Rice, wide receiver at pick 135 at the end of round 4. Then in round 5, going Kalen King, corner from Penn State, more of a nickel guy. And then the outside guy, Boston College, Elijah Jones, corner in round 6. And a lot of special teams value here on day 3 as well, which is something that absolutely teams are looking for. Edufan Olafasio, linebacker from Washington, to finish it up in round 7. What do you guys think? PFF gave us a C- on that. I think this is an A+ draft, and appreciate everybody in the live chat that helped me out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you helping us build here this new channel. And the more people that subscribe and the more people that watch, the more often I'll be doing overtime podcasts here. OT with BP. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll be on here with my guy Eric Crocker later on this week. We're going to be doing our big board. We're going straight into the Locked On 49ers war room, and we are going to hammer out our big board as we see it for the San Francisco 49ers before this 2024 NFL draft. Got Larry Krueger coming on later this week. He's big with the day 3 guys. We'll see what he thinks about our day 3 picks here. He loves himself some undrafted free agents. So we're going to go deep in the draft Friday evening live with Larry Krueger. And during the draft, make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell, because Crocker and I are going to be live streaming during the NFL draft and breaking down everything that's going on throughout the league here on the channel. We're going to jump onto Crocker's channel as well. So make sure you are subscribed to Eric Crocker's YouTube channel. And of course, Locked On 49ers, where you can find us both daily. You can also find me doing NFL stuff on the Peacock and Williamson NFL show. And if I'm not, and as if I wasn't busy enough, tonight, Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific, the Locked On NFL 2024 mock draft special, which I co-host with Williamson and the Locked On NFL draft guys. We have so much fun doing this thing every year, and it's an extravaganza, a 6-episode mock draft where everybody from the network makes picks for their teams. It's so much fun. That will be streaming live on the Locked On Sports Today channel starting this evening, and then it'll also be posted later. You'll get the Niners pick on Locked On 49ers, and you'll get the whole thing in episodes on Peacock and Williamson and Locked On NFL and Locked On NFL Draft and all that. So make sure you're subscribed up to everything, especially this channel. And I'll talk to you next time right here, OT with BP.